Hey guys, Duyo here, and today we're going to be talking about SDUs, what they are, how to get them, the best ways to get them, the best ships to get them with, and any information you need to know about SDUs for the upcoming release of Sage Labs for the Star Atlas game. So, what is the SDU? SDU is a survey data unit. It's what your ships can scan for, and you're going to use these SDUs for tickets. Basically, there's two types of tickets: redeemable tickets and golden tickets, which is like a raffle that Star Atlas is having with tons and tons of prizes. But if you don't like trying your luck with raffles, you can use these for redeemable tickets for ship. I think there's going to be some CSS home bases for the different factions, and maybe even crew members, ship skins, just cool stuff like that that you can craft during Sage Labs and actually redeem. And one of the components is with these SDUs. So we know what an SDU is and how do you get them? Let's go over how you get them and the best ways to get them, how to earn the most of them, best ships to use for them, and all of that. But first, if you like hearing updates about Star Atlas and how to basically min-max your way to winning and earning more Atlas, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel because that's all we talk about here is Star Atlas and how to earn more Atlas. In fact, I have a whole guide on Star Atlas Maximum Profits Guide. The link will be in the description below, and it goes over all the ways to earn Atlas and the best ways to do it so you get the best bang for your buck. And if you use the discount code ATLAS, you can get it for 50% off. So first, let's go over a couple of different rules for SDUs. To obtain these, the max amount you can obtain in one scan is 10. So you can never go higher than 10. And if you have a extra small ship, it counts as 1. So if you have 10 extra small ships, you can get 10 SDUs per scan. However, if you have 500 extra small ships, you can still only get 10. Now you can have multiple fleets. So you can break them up into different groups where each of them equals 10 to get the most amount of SDUs possible per scan. Now, so that's for extra small. Extra small counts as 2, small counts as 3 slots, medium counts as 4, large as 5, and so on and so forth as you go up the ladder. This means the larger ships you have, the less amount of ships you need in your fleet to obtain the maximum amount of SDUs. So extra small ships count as 2. You only need 5 ships in your fleet to get the maximum amount of 10. So keep that in mind. That is just one rule there. And another rule is that all ships have the same scanning range of the whole sector. So it doesn't matter what size, make, model of your ship. Every ship is going to scan the whole sector, and every ship is going to have a 25% chance to obtain your SDU. Or every fleet scan, should I say, not ship. If you have multiple ships, you still only have 25% chance. And this is going to be a pivot number for them. If we're not earning enough, they can bump that number up so we can get more often. And if we have too many SDUs and it's breaking the market, they can treat this down to like 10% so we're earning less. But at the start of Sage Labs, it's going to be 25% chance. It doesn't matter if you have the best scanner in the market or if you have the worst scanner. All of them is going to have a 25% chance of getting these SDUs, and it's not going to be like you might get 2, you might get 3. If you can get 10, if that 25% chance procs, then you're going to get the whole 10. You can't get partial amounts. There is one way you can get a partial amount that we'll cover next. There are ships that are better at scanning than others, but these are two things that don't matter: the scan range and the scan percent. These two are going to be the same across all ships. It might change in the future, but as for right now, that's the way it is. And then there's actually going to be 2 limitations on getting these SDUs. if anybody within your sector has obtained an SDU within the past 2 minutes, everybody else is going to have a 0% chance to get SDUs while scanning in that sector. So spread out. Don't be all clustered together. You're going to be hurting each other's chances of getting SDUs. Spread out, because once somebody gets it, nobody else is going to get one in that sector for a 2-minute cooldown. After those 2 minutes, it's free game. Everybody can start scanning again. But if you are in a more secluded sector away from anybody else and it's just you, that's the best way to maximize your chances of getting one, because nobody's going to be preventing you from getting it with that 2-minute cooldown. Another limitation is that there can only be 1,500 SDUs obtained globally within 1 minute. So on the off chance that within a single minute there's been 1,500 SDUs obtained across the whole server, there will be a 1-minute cooldown until you can get any more SDUs. Now, this is where a partial scan can come in. So let's say 1,496 SDUs have been scanned within the past minute, and you got lucky and you got some. You're only going to get 4. You're not going to get the whole 10 because it can't go past that 1,500 limit. I think they have this in here. I don't see this one happening a lot, but it is a limitation. And so if weird stuff starts happening, at least you're aware of this. It could be the reason why. But I really don't see this second scenario preventing you from obtaining any SDUs really ever. But it could happen. All right, so how do you get these SDUs and what's the best way to do it? I will go over the best way to do it, and then we'll jump into the best ships to do it to make this method work even better. So on average, the average for fleet, in fact, here, this is Nancy. It's a fleet management tool, resource tool put together by AFIA, and I have Aerobytes, Opal Jets, Piers X4, I got Piers X5. But this is just going to be your average everyday fleet. A bunch of the extra smalls. I got more than 10 slots here, so it's going to get you the full 10 amount. And you're going to see that the scan cooldown is 1 minute and 3 seconds. So that's a pretty average fleet. There's nothing too special about any of these ships, but they're also not the very worst ships ever for scanning. So pretty average. So you can see that on average, you can scan about once a minute, basically. Now, if you have a 25% chance and you can scan once a minute, then every 1 to 4 minutes, you're going to be getting SDUs. 1 to 4 minutes, you're going to be getting 10 SDUs. And then once you get those SDUs, you're going to have a 0% chance for the next 2 minutes. Because remember, if anybody gets an SDU in your sector, including you, within the past 2 minutes, everybody has a 0% chance in that sector to get any more. So what are you going to do? Just sit there for 2 minutes? No, I have a method to get you the most SDUs possible in the shortest amount of time. You go to the edge of a sector. So you're in sector A, let's say, and you scan in 1 to 4 minutes, you're going to get SDUs. And then you just hop on over. You're right there on the border. You hop the border to sector B, and in 1 to 4 minutes, you're going to get SDUs. Assuming these are both secluded, nobody else is around you. So nobody else is proccing these 2-minute cooldowns. You go here, 1 to 4 minutes, you get SDU. Hop the border, 1 to 4 minutes, you get SDU. If you scan here and you get an SDU, you just hop back over here. That 2-minute cooldown is going to be over, or just about over. And then you can go back to scanning, and then you just bounce back and forth on the border of these two sectors until you get as many SDUs as possible. You go back to your star base and you do whatever you're going to do. Sell them, use them, craft them, so on and so forth. So that'd be the best method on how to get SDUs. Now we're going to go over the best ships to get the most amount of SDUs. Because remember, the scan range is going to be the same. the percent chance is going to be the same. The only thing that matters with ships is that you can get this 1 minute, 3 second cooldown lower. There is a way to get it about 25-30% lower than this, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So if we go here, this is the Star Atlas lore wiki, and it gives you all of the ship stats. So these are the manufacturers, and these are the ship types. And you can see all of these ship makers have different stats for the hull, shield, armor, warp, subwarp, maneuver. And then we're going to go to scanner. You'll see some are 2, 3, 1, 2.5. So 1 is going to be a bad scanner. And things like 3 is going to be a good scanner. Now, before we get started, I will tell you this. There is one data scanning ship on the marketplace. Only one. It is a VSUS. It is a VSUS OPOD. And that data scanning ship, a lot of people are going to assume that it is the best scanner. I will tell you this. Right here, you go to Data Runner, and then you go over here, you got a 6. These numbers jump from 2 to 6. It's the only 6 there. There's a 5, that's pretty good. You got 4, that's above average. But it is the only 6. However, you go to VSUS, third from the top, boom, it's a 1. It is literally the worst data scanner. And so the way it works is you multiply this by this, and I put it together in a spreadsheet. Here's a couple of different ship makers, and here's a couple of different ship types. And so for a Busan bounty hunter, you would take 3 times 4. That'd give you 12. But there's not any. Busan's actually really good. Piers Racer. So, there's not Pierce Racer. A Pierce Fighter, very common. Pierce X4 is the Pierce Fighter. You would take 2 times 2, so that would give you 4. So what I did was I took several different ships that's actually available on the marketplace, and I put their numbers here. But if you take VSUS, which is 1, times Data Runner, 6, you get 6. 1 times 6 is 6. And that is about average. You see some 3s on 4s. You see some like 7.5, 8, 10. So 6 average or slightly above average. Because I didn't do all the ships. I didn't do all of them that are extremely low because there's no point. I'm looking for the best data scanners, not the worst. So the only data scanning ship on the marketplace is about average. And actually, a lot of people were pretty upset because the only data scanning ship sucks as a data scanner. Because another thing you want is the stealth and the, I think, is this stealth? Oh yeah, stealth. So they actually have a 5 stealth now, but they used to have like what's the lowest number? 3.75. They used to have like a 3, maybe a 4. They had one of the worst stealth stats. And in the latest patch notes, they actually improved this so that the only data scanning ship on the marketplace is a little bit stealthier. However, they didn't improve the scanner at all. And VSUS is literally one of the very worst. It's tied for the very worst data scanning ship. So don't just assume that the VSUS data scanning ship is going to be the best one, because it's not. I'm not saying it's bad. The modules with it are pretty good. You know, it's got other pros and cons, but scanning it's not the best scanner. Let's leave it at that. What would be a Busan data scanner? It would be, well, just look at this. Busan is 3, data scanner is 6. That would give you a number of 18. Right now, the best ship we have is a 10. So a Busan data runner would give you way better stats than anything available in the marketplace right now, but there's not a Busan data scanner, so we can't use that right now. Yeah, if you read my guide, I talk a lot about holding out for a boost on data scanning because, as far as scanning data, it would be the very best you could possibly be. So actually talked a lot about that in my guide. However, it's not available yet, so we're we're left with what we're left with. Let's put it that way. So, what are we left with? Well, um, you see the light green is above average, and then the green is actually good. And then what I did was this number is the price of the cheapest one on the marketplace right now. And then I divided this number by this number to give you the cost per data scanning capabilities. So if you want the very best data scanning per cost, that would be the Fibble Ecos Bomber. It gives you slightly above average stats. So it's not the best data scanner. However, at a price of $31, it is the cheapest for what it gives you. Um, Now, if you want the very best one, it would be a Calico Rescue. So if we go to our list of ships, um, go like this, Calico Rescue. So that'd be the Calico MedTech, and I know there's one more, Calico Evac. And are these actually better? So I went back to the Nancy Fleet Management, and remember our cooldown is 1 minute and 3 seconds. And we said that the Calico MedTech is the best data scanning ship, right? Because it gives you a number of 10, um, which is higher than any other number on the list right now. So we're going to go here, and this one gave me, I added this Calico MedTech right here. And then look what it does to the cooldown. 1 minute and 3 seconds. Absolutely nothing. I'm like, why does it do that? And so then I'm like, okay, well, let me put just the Calico MedTech, nothing else. And so I did just that. Or the evac, same thing. Evac and med and the MedTech, same class and same type, just different sizes. But look what it does. 44 seconds. So this is actually the fastest scan cooldown that you can have right now is 44 seconds. And that's down from 1 minute and 3 seconds. So we improved our scan time by over 25%. If you can scan more, you can get more SDUs. And I'm not saying go out and buy these. I'm just saying that if you have a Calico evac or medtech, it would be the fastest scan time. And that's the best way to get SDUs. Fastest way to get SDUs, if that's specifically the only thing you're going for. But and then I did one more thing. What did I do? Okay, but then so my theory of only having so then my theory of why it didn't go down when it was added to my original fleet was because this is all based on your slowest ship. So the worst scanning ship in the original fleet was the Opal Jets. So I did the original fleet with no Opals, and this is what it gave me. See right here, you got the original fleet except for the Opal Jets, and we got a scan time of 1 minute and 1 second. This is down 2 seconds from the original 1 minute and 3 seconds. So getting rid of the worst ship did improve our scan time by 2 seconds. However, I would not say that's a big enough difference to even matter. So just throw your Oval Jets in there. If you have something that's really, really slowing you down, if it's slowing you down by 10 or 15 seconds, over the course of a long time, if you're doing this for hours, it could make a big difference. But if it's 2 seconds, like really, you can go like that all day long, and overall, it's not going to make that big of a difference. So then I was wondering, well, the Calico Evac is a medium-sized ship. So what if you had a large? So I went ahead and I was wondering, does size matter? And I put a capital size ship in there of the multi-row. And just for reference, the Calico multi-row is a 7.5 instead of a 10. But this ship is so much larger that if size matters, it would improve the cooldown. So we go back down here and we had 51 seconds. And remember, the Calico evac was 44 seconds. So even with the larger ship, the cooldown is worse because it's a multi-row instead of a rescuer. So size does not matter, meaning that the Calico MedTech is your best bang for your buck if you want only SDUs. Now, if you have ships like that, you could use that same amount of money to be mining or doing other things that could potentially be better. I'm not saying that SDUs using Calico Medtechs is going to outperform mining or crafting or any other activities. But I'm saying if you want to focus solely on SDUs, um, it is the fastest cooldown. However, for the same price, you could get a whole bunch of where are they? For the same price, you could get a whole bunch of Thimble air bikes and have multiple fleets in multiple sectors scanning SDUs at the same time, and it would probably outperform. You would have that 1 minute, 1 second cooldown instead of the 44-second cooldown. But just by having 2 or 3 times more fleets, you'd be 2 or 3 times more likely to get an SDU per scan, and that would overall be best. I'm just saying that the best, fastest scanning ship right now is that Calico MedTech. Now, there is one caveat to this. Something I did not include is these Armstrong imps. So if we go back to the stats and you go to Armstrong right here, you'll see that they have a great 3.25. They have the best scanning stats. And then it's a mining ship. So where's the miner? Miner, second from the bottom. And 5. Okay, so 3, what was that number? 3.2, 3.25 by 5, that's 15.75. That would be a much higher number, and they would ultimately be the best scanning ships. However, these mining ships outperform in mining. So even if they are the best SDU scanners, you should definitely be using them for mining because that's what they're there for. So that is something I did not include when I was doing this. And then one other thing I did not include, let me go here. But let's go back to Nancy. And again, this is a fleet management resource tool put together by some of the members of AFIA. Definitely very helpful and something you should check out. Let's go back to the original, like your average everyday fleet you might have. It will tell you the cargo capacity, ammo capacity, fuel capacity, the mining rate, all of this stuff. It gives you so much information. And then as you scroll down, it will tell you stats about subwarp, warp, agility, firepower, and all of these specs, right? Something I did not take into consideration because it would matter so little and I don't even know if it would be worth calculating, but fuel costs, fuel efficiency. Where were we? Different ships have different fuel capacity, and different ships have different max warps, minimum subwarp speed, all of this. And if you go here, actually, one of the stats is going to be fuel savings. So different ships have different amount of fuel savings. And you could possibly get a fuel saver, like whatever this is, put together with whatever this is for a ship that is more fuel efficient and ultimately costs less to maintain it. So if you have less crew, that's less food, and if you're more fuel sufficient, that means that you're not spending as much in fuel. You can keep more of your rewards as profit instead of selling your rewards and then having to refuel as much. If that's something you would like, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a separate video specifically for fuel savings. And I'll go ahead and calculate in warp speed, warp speed, max warp distance, because all of this is going to factor in with fuel efficiency. So that is something to consider. But for the most part, you should have a pretty clear idea now on strategies to get the most SDUs, the ships that give you SDUs, and at least where you can go to the page here and you can look up the stats yourself. I jotted some down. If you want to pause it, take a screenshot of this. Basically, here's the manufacturers, here's the ship types, and then you just multiply this by this, and um, then you just go down the marketplace because not all of these combinations are going to exist on the current marketplace. I hope this video shines some lights on the best ways to farm your SDUs when Sage Labs comes out later this month. And if you want to learn more ways of how to maximize your playing experience when Sage Labs comes out, then remember to subscribe to my channel because I'll be making more videos, especially once we start getting in there and discovering more topics. Also keep in mind, if you want to learn more about this, as well as other ways to earn more Atlas, then check out my guide. The link's in the description below. And remember to use the discount code ATLAS to receive 50% off. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.